The Court further considers that Israel must take immediate and effective measures to enable the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse conditions of life faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Israel must also take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 and Article 3 of the Genocide Convention against members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. Regarding the provisional measure requested by South Africa that Israel must submit a report to the Court on all measures taken to give effect to the order, the Court recalls that it has the power, reflected in Article 78 of the Rules of Court, to request the parties to provide information on any matter connected with the implementation of any provisional measures it has indicated. In view of the specific provisional measures it has decided to indicate, the Court considers that Israel must submit a report to the Court on all measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 month as from the date of this order. The report so provided shall then be communicated to South Africa, which shall be given the opportunity to submit to the Court its comments thereon. The Court recalls that its orders on provisional measures under Article 41 of the statute have binding effect and thus create international legal obligations for any party to whom the provisional measures are addressed. The Court reaffirms that the decision given in the present proceedings in no way prejudges the question of the jurisdiction of the Court to deal with the merits of the case or any questions related to the admissibility of the application or to the merits themselves. It leaves unaffected the right of the governments of the Republic of South Africa and the State of Israel to submit arguments in respect of these questions. The order then states that the Court deems it necessary to emphasize that all parties to the conflict in the Gaza Strip are bound by international humanitarian law. It is gravely concerned about the fate of the hostages abducted during the attack in Israel on 7 October 2023 and held since then by Hamas and other armed groups, and calls for their immediate and unconditional release. I shall now read out the operative part of the order. For these reasons, the Court indicates the following provisional measures. 1. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to the Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, in particular, A, killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall ensure, with immediate effect, that its military does not commit any acts described in point 1 above. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. By 16 votes to 1, the State of Israel shall take all measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judges ad hoc Barak, Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebutinde. By 16 votes to 1, the State of Israel shall take immediate and effective measures to ensure the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse conditions of life faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judges ad hoc Barak, Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebutinde. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 and Article 3 of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide against members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebutinde, Judge ad hoc Barak. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall submit a report to the Court on all measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 month as from the date of the order. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebutinde, Judge ad hoc Barak. I shall now call upon the Registrar to read the operative part of the order in French.
Par ces motifs, la Cour indique les mesures conservatoires suivantes. 1. Par 15 voix contre 2, l'État d'Israël doit, conformément aux obligations lui incombant au titre de la Convention pour la prévention et la répression du crime de génocide, prendre toutes les mesures en son pouvoir pour prévenir la commission, à l'encontre des Palestiniens de Gaza, de tout acte entrant dans le champ d'application de l'article 2 de la Convention, en particulier les actes suivants. A. Meurtre de membres du groupe. B. Atteinte grave à l'intégrité physique ou mentale de membres du groupe. C. Soumission intentionnelle du groupe à des conditions d'existence devant entraîner sa destruction physique totale ou partielle. Et D. Mesures visant à entraver les naissances au sein du groupe. Pour Madame Donoghue, présidente, Monsieur Gevorgian, vice-président, Messieurs Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssouf, Madame Choué, Messieurs Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Madame Charlesworth, Monsieur Brand, juge, Monsieur Moseneke, juge ad hoc. Contre, Madame Sebutinde, juge, Monsieur Barak, juge ad hoc. 2. Par 15 voix contre 2, l'État d'Israël doit veiller avec effet immédiat à ce que son armée ne commette aucun des actes visés au point 1 ci-dessus. Pour Madame Donoghue, présidente, Monsieur Gevorgian, vice-président, Messieurs Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssouf, Madame Choué, Messieurs Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Madame Charlesworth, Monsieur Brand, juge, Monsieur Moseneke, juge ad hoc. Contre, Madame Sebutinde, juge, Monsieur Barak, juge ad hoc. 3. Par 16 voix contre 1, l'État d'Israël doit prendre toutes les mesures en son pouvoir pour prévenir et punir l'incitation directe et publique à commettre le génocide à l'encontre des membres du groupe des Palestiniens de la bande de Gaza. Pour Madame Donoghue, présidente, Monsieur Gevorgian, vice-président, Messieurs Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssouf, Madame Choué, Messieurs Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Madame Charlesworth, Monsieur Brand, juge, Messieurs Barak, Moseneke, juge ad hoc, contre Madame Sebutinde, juge. 4. Par 16 voix contre 1, l'État d'Israël doit prendre sans délai des mesures effectives pour permettre la fourniture des services de base et de l'aide humanitaire requis de toute urgence afin de remédier aux difficiles conditions d'existence auxquelles sont soumis les Palestiniens de la bande de Gaza. Pour Madame Donoghue, présidente, Monsieur Gevorgyan, vice-président, Messieurs Tomka, Abraham, Benouna, Youssouf, Madame Choué, Messieurs Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Madame Charlesworth, Monsieur Brand, juge, Messieurs Barak, Moseneke, juge ad hoc. Contre, Madame Sebutinde, juge. 5. Par 15 voix contre 2, l'État d'Israël doit prendre des mesures effectives pour prévenir la destruction et assurer la conservation des éléments de preuve relatifs aux allégations d'actes entrant dans le champ d'application des articles 2 et 3 de la Convention pour la prévention et la répression du crime de génocide commis contre les membres du groupe des Palestiniens de la bande de Gaza. Pour Madame Donoghue, présidente, Monsieur Gevorgyan, vice-président, Messieurs Tomka, Abraham, Benouna, Youssouf, Madame Choué, Messieurs Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Madame Charlesworth, Monsieur Brand, juge, Monsieur Moseneke, juge ad hoc. Contre, Madame Sebutinde, juge, Monsieur Barak, juge ad hoc. 6. Par 15 voix contre 2, l'État d'Israël doit soumettre à la Cour un rapport sur l'ensemble des mesures qu'il aura prises pour donner effet à la présente ordonnance dans un délai d'1 mois à compter de la date de celle-ci. Pour Madame Donoghue, présidente, Monsieur Gevorgyan, vice-président, Messieurs Tomka, Abraham, Benouna, Youssouf, Madame Choué, Messieurs Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Madame Charlesworth, Monsieur Brand, juge, Monsieur Moseneke, juge ad hoc. Contre, Madame Sebutinde, juge, Monsieur Barak, juge ad hoc.
Judge Choué appends a declaration to the order of the court. Judge Sebutinde appends a dissenting opinion to the order of the court. Judges Bandari and Nolte append declarations to the order of the court. Judge Ad hoc Barak appends a separate opinion to the order of the court. The text of the court will be available from today in typescript. It will be available shortly on the court's website. The printed text will be available in due course. As the court has no further business before it today, I declare the sitting closed.
Perhaps this will help the Biden administration because, as we know, behind the scenes, the US president has been urging the Israelis to stop the scale of their bombardment and to tone down some of their military operations and to scale up the humanitarian aid, all of things that have been ignored by Israel until this point. So I suspect the Biden administration may well, given the way this has gone, be somewhat happy with this, but we'll have to see what comes out of Washington.
Provisions of the Convention are intended to protect the members of a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group from acts of genocide or any other punishable acts enumerated in Article 3. The Court considers that there is a correlation between the rights of members of groups protected under the Genocide Convention, the obligations incumbent on state parties thereto, and the right of any state party to seek compliance therewith by another state party. As the Court has stated in other cases, in order for acts to fall within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, the intent must be to destroy at least a substantial part of a particular group. This is demanded by the very nature of the crime of genocide, since the object and purpose of the Convention as a whole is to prevent the intentional destruction of groups. The part targeted must be significant enough to have an impact on the group as a whole. The Palestinians appear to constitute a distinct national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, and hence a protected group within the meaning of Article 2 of the Genocide Convention. The Court observes that, according to United Nations sources, the Palestinian population in the Gaza Strip comprises over 2 million people. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip form a substantial part of the protected group. The Court notes that the military operation being conducted by Israel following the attack of 7 October 2023 has resulted in a large number of deaths and injuries, as well as massive destruction of homes, the forcible displacement of the vast majority of the population, and extensive damage to civilian infrastructure. While figures relating to the Gaza Strip cannot be independently verified, recent information indicates that 25,700 Palestinians have been killed, over 63,000 injuries have been reported, over 360 housing units have been destroyed or partially damaged, and approximately 1.7 million persons have been internally displaced. The Court takes note in this regard of the statement by the United Nations Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator, Mr. Martin Griffiths, on 5 January 2024. I quote, "Gaza has become a place of death and despair. Families are sleeping in the open as temperatures plummet. Areas where civilians were told to relocate for their safety have come under bombardment. Medical facilities are under relentless attack. A public health disaster is unfolding. Gaza has simply become uninhabitable. Its people are witnessing daily threats to their very existence while the world watches on." End of quote. Following a mission to North Gaza, the World Health Organization reported that as of 21 December 2023, I quote, "An unprecedented 93% of the population of Gaza is facing crisis levels of hunger, with insufficient food and high levels of malnutrition." End of quote. The Court further notes the statement issued by the Commissioner General of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, or UNRWA, Mr. Philippe Lazzarini, on 13 January 2024. I quote, "It's been 100 days since the devastating war started, killing and displacing people in Gaza following the horrific attacks that Hamas and other groups carried out against people in Israel. It's been 100 days of ordeal and anxiety for hostages and their families. In the past 100 days, sustained bombardment across the Gaza Strip caused the massive displacement of a population that is in a state of flux, constantly uprooted and forced to leave overnight, only to move to places which are just as unsafe. This war affected more than 2 million people, the entire population of Gaza. Many will carry lifelong scars, both physical and psychological. The vast majority, including children, are deeply traumatized. Overcrowded and unsanitary UNRWA shelters have become home to more than 1.4 million people. They lack everything, from food to hygiene to privacy. People live in inhumane conditions where diseases are spreading, including among children. They live through the unlivable with the clock ticking fast towards famine. The plight of children in Gaza is especially heartbreaking. An entire generation of children is traumatized and will take years to heal. Thousands have been killed, maimed, and orphaned. Hundreds of thousands are deprived of education. Their future is in jeopardy with far-reaching and long-lasting consequences. The UNRWA Commissioner General also stated that the crisis in Gaza is, I quote, compounded by dehumanizing language, end of quote. In this regard, the court has taken note of a number of statements made by senior Israeli officials. It calls attention in particular to the following examples. On 9 October 2023, Mr. Yoav Gallant, Defense Minister of Israel, announced that he had ordered a complete siege of Gaza City, and then that there would be no electricity, no food, no fuel, and that everything was closed. On the following day, Minister Gallant stated, speaking to Israeli troops on the Gaza border, I quote, "I have released all restraints. You saw what we are fighting against. We are fighting human animals. This is the ISIS of Gaza. This is what we are fighting against. Gaza won't return to what it was before. There will be no Hamas. We will eliminate everything. If it doesn't take one day, it will take a week. It will take weeks or even months. We will reach all places." End of quote. On 12 October 2023, Mr. Isaac Herzog, President of Israel, stated, referring to Gaza, I quote, "We are working, operating militarily according to rules of international law, unequivocally. It is an entire nation out there that is responsible. It is not true, this rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved. It is absolutely not true. They could have risen up. They could have fought against that evil regime which took over Gaza in a coup d'etat. But we are at war. We are at war. We are at war. We are defending our homes. We are protecting our homes. That's the truth. And when a nation protects its home, it fights. And we will fight until we break their backbone." End of quote. On 13 October 2023, Mr. Israel Katz, then Minister of Energy and Infrastructure of Israel, stated on X, formerly Twitter, I quote, "We will fight the terrorist organization Hamas and destroy it. All the civilian population in Gaza is ordered to leave immediately. We will win. They will not receive a drop of water or a single battery until they leave the world." End of quote. The court also takes note of a press release of 16 November 2023 issued by 37 special rapporteurs, independent experts, and members of working groups part of the special procedures of the United Nations Human Rights Council, in which they voiced alarm over, I quote, "discernibly genocidal and dehumanizing rhetoric coming from senior Israeli government officials." End of quote. In addition, on 27 October 2023, the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination observed that it was highly concerned about the sharp increase in racist hate speech and dehumanization directed at Palestinians since